Good morning, dear. Today we will correct the exercise about isosceles triangle. Let's start by practice 1. Complete. If EFG is an isosceles triangle of main vertex E, what do you mean by isosceles triangle? It's a triangle having two equal sides. Here, for example, the main vertex or principal vertex is E. It's the vertex holding the two equal sides, then EF equal to EG. Now, the side that's opposite to the main vertex is the base. FG is the base, and we know that the base angles of isosceles are equal, so EFG equals to EGF. Okay, and here, since we have FH equal to HG, H is the midpoint of FG, so I can say that EH is the median relative to FG. And here, since EH is perpendicular to FG, then EH is the height. It's a perpendicular passing through the midpoint of FG, so it's at the same time a perpendicular bisector. And that's what we say that in an isosceles triangle, the median, the height, the bisector, and the perpendicular bisector are overlapping. Of course, I'm talking about the median or the height issued from the main vertex of isosceles. Now, back to our practice. E is the main vertex or the principal vertex. EF, this is EF, it's equal to EG. It's given from the figure. FG is the base. It's the side facing the principal or the main vertex. EFG, it's a base angle. It's adjacent to the base. So EFG equal to EGF since the base angles of isosceles are equal. And H is the midpoint of FG since FH equal to HG. And we can say that H is at the foot of the perpendicular since EH is perpendicular to FG at H. Now, EH is at the same time, it's a median since H is at the midpoint of FG and EH is a segment issued from the vertex E to the midpoint of the opposite side. It's a height relative to FG since EH is perpendicular to FG. It's also a bisector since FEH equal to HEG, and it's the perpendicular bisector of FG. It's perpendicular to the base passing through its midpoint. Now, calculate EFG if FEG equal to 70 degrees. Now, here FEG equal to 70. And we know that the base angles of isosceles are equal. These two angles here, F and G, are equal to each other. So I can say that the sum of these angles is 180 minus 70, which is 110. Okay, we say that F plus G as the angles, their sum with FEG equal to 70 degree. Now, let's take this angle away, so we still have 180 minus 70, which is 110. And if I want to divide this angle equally among two equal angles, since the base angles of isosceles are equal, then each one of them will equal to 55 degrees. Okay, we can write it's 180 minus 70 over 2, so 110 over 2 equals to 55, or you can write them a step after another. Now, another given. If FEG is unknown, I have to calculate it. EFG equal to 40 degrees. Okay, I don't know the measure of angle E. Since EFG equal to 40, then of course EGF equals to 40 degrees. Why? Since the base angles of isosceles are equal. And now, what's the measure of EFG? The sum of angles in a triangle is 180. So 180, take out 40 and another 40. So it's 180 minus 80 and it's 100 degree. Okay? We always say that the rule is the sum of angles in a triangle is 180. So 100 plus 40 plus 40 equal 180. So we checked up and our answer is correct. Okay, there's another way to write it. I can write that FEG equal 180 minus 2 times EFG. 2 times, since the both angles are equal, so I multiply the angle by 2 and then I can say that it's 180 minus its measure. In all cases it's true, you can solve the way that you prefer. Okay, now you have to solve these exercises and hand in your work in the assignment. Consider an isosceles triangle DEF of main vertex D. Of course, you have to draw it with exact measurement, but only for discussion, I'm drawing it here for you. This is triangle DEF, and when I say that main vertex D, it means that DE equals to DF. The main vertex is the vertex holding the equal sides. Let M be the midpoint of EF. Midpoint is the point in the middle, so this is point M. And since it's midpoint, so EM equals to MF. Now, what does DM represent for the triangle DEF? If I join this vertex, which is D, to point M, what do I call DM? You have to think well and write your answer. Then the perpendicular bisector of DE cuts the straight line DM at A. I have to draw first the perpendicular bisector of DE, either by using your compass or by plotting the midpoint of DE and draw perpendicular passing through the midpoint of DE. After you draw the perpendicular bisector of DE, it cuts DM at a point called A. You have to prove that AD equals to AE. Okay? It's easy, but you have to draw a correct figure and think correctly. Now number 2, M and P is isosceles triangle of main vertex M. Let I be the orthogonal projection or the perpendicular or the height drawn from M to NP. You have to draw M and P. Here, for example, let's say it's an isosceles triangle. Of course, it's not exact my drawing here, but you have to draw an exact figure. M and P, how to draw it to be isosceles? Draw NP. Now in this question, they didn't ask me for exact measurements, so you can draw NP as you want. Open the compass of radius that you choose, and from point P, draw an arc, another arc, putting the compass on vertex and drawing another arc. The intersection of these two arcs is point M. Since it's isosceles of main vertex M, then Mn equals to MP. Let I be the orthogonal projection. It's the perpendicular drawn from M to NP by using your set square, of course. What does MI represent for triangle MNP? What do we call the segment that is drawn from the vertex perpendicular or relative to opposite side? Now let H and K be the feet of perpendicular drawn from I to MN. Here from I have to draw a perpendicular relative to MN and MP respectively. Respectively means each time. For example, What do you mean by respectively? H is the perpendicular drawn from I to an N. The first letter for the first segment and the second letter for the second segment, and so on. K is the feet of perpendicular drawn from I to MP. What's required to prove is IH equals to IK. Okay, it's your turn to think correctly and prove that IH equals to IK. So take your time, think correctly. I'm waiting your answers. If you have any question, you can directly contact me. Okay? Thank you for your attention.